We're in Photoshop and we have three images that we just processed using the Deep Sky Stacker. We're going to bring them all into Photoshop. So we're going to say open, and here's autosave 1 and autosave 2. So here we're bringing them all in. Okay, so the autosave is a hydrogen alpha image, autosave 1 is oxygen 3 image, and autosave 2 is a sulfur 2 image. So now we're going to change all these images to 16 bits because they're all gray 32-bit images. And all we need to do is to go here to image, mode, and 16 bits. So let's just change to a 16-bit image. And then by default it gives you local adaptation. We choose exposure and gamma. We don't want any changes. And so we're going to say OK, and then we're going to go to autosave 1, which is the oxygen image, do the same thing. We're going to go to mode, change it to 16 bits, like that, and then we're going to say exposure and gamma, OK, and we're going to go to the third one, and we're going to say image, mode, and 16 bits. So this one also needs to go to exposure and gamma, and we're done. So now we're going to save these images, and this time I'm going to give them some name, like autosave can be hydrogen alpha, this 16 bits, and oxygen 3 16 bits, and sulfur 2 16 bits. That's how I'm going to save them. So I'm going to say save as, and I give it some name. You say hydrogen alpha, H alpha, 16 bits, and now I will save it. So when I say save, it gives me this little window, TIFF options. In TIFF options, I can choose Macintosh, I can change it to interleaved or non-interleaved, or I can go no image compression, which is what I want, no image compression. I'm going to save it. Okay, now it's saved. So I'll do the same with these. I'll call this one oxygen 3 16 bits and sulfur 2 16 bits. So now we have three images, they're all 16 bits. Now is the time to go to Maxim-DL program and do some digital processing on them. Now I'm in Maxim-DL. So in Maxim-DL, I'm going to bring those three new images in. I'm going to say open. I'm going to go to the bottom here and open up hydrogen alpha 16 bits. And I'm going to bring in oxygen 3 16 bits and sulfur 2 16 bits. Bring them all in here. And one by one, I'm going to use the filter called digital development, all of them. So when I click digital development, this window opens up. Filter type, I'm going to put in kernel low pass, and everything else is kind of automatic. I'll put these on auto. Most of the time, automatic will be fine. So I click OK, and my image is done. So then I will save this image as, I'll save this image as oxygen 3 16-bit DD, digitally developed, like that. And then I go to the next one, next one, next one. And so when I get to hydrogen alpha, I'll do the same thing. I'll say filter, digital development. I say kernel low pass. Okay. And now I will save it again. So I'll say save as, save as. So I'll save this one as hydrogen alpha 16-bit digitally developed, and then I'll say save. And then I'm going to save the next one, which is the sulfur 2. I'm going to change the filter, so I'm going to say digitally develop this one too. And I'm going to say OK. And I can see the histogram is stretched from horizon to horizon. And I'm going to save it now. So again, I'll say save as. And this one will be saved as sulfur 2 16-bit digitally developed. And I'm done in Maxim-DL. I have to go back to Photoshop and finish the job. So I'm back in Photoshop. I'm going to bring the digital developed pictures back in. So I'm going to say open again. And here are my images. I have the hydrogen alpha image. I have the oxygen 3 image and sulfur 2 image. I'll bring them all in. And it seems like sulfur is the most impressive one. Hydrogen alpha is impressive too, but sulfur seems to be even brighter. So we choose sulfur as our base. That's the only one we're going to keep as gray. Everything else we're going to change to color image. So I'm going to change the hydrogen alpha. I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go to mode. And I'm going to say this one is grayscale 16 bits. This one is grayscale 16 bits. And then sulfur, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to go mode. It's grayscale right now on the 16 bits. I'm going to change it to RGB color. I'm going to click on that. So this one is RGB color. Now that it's RGB color, let's look at our channels. So these are all different channels. This is a red channel, green channel, and the blue channel. So what we want to do is to keep the sulfur in the red channel, which it is right now. But in the green, I'm going to put the oxygen, and in blue, I'm going to put the hydrogen alpha, or vice versa. This is something that we have freedom over. Although the Hubble palette requires the oxygen to be in the blue and hydrogen alpha in the green. So I'll start by copying the hydrogen alpha image. There's my hydrogen alpha image. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to say Control A. When you say Control A, that means select the entire image. And then I'm going to copy it by saying Control C. So Control C copied it. Now I'm going to go back to the sulfur 2 image. And this is hydrogen alpha, so I'm going to put in the green. So I'm going to click on the green here. And then what I've copied is hydrogen alpha. I'm going to say Control V as in Victor. So when I do that, then hydrogen alpha image is pictured in the green. Now I'm going to go to the blue. This is where I want to put the oxygen image in. So here's my oxygen image. I'm going to say Control A, Control C, and then I'm going to go back to the sulfur, and I'm in the blue here. So now I'm going to Control V or paste the image into the blue channel. Alright, so now we can see everything. So green and blue, and then the red. So this is my image. And I am done. Now it's processing the colors and also making it, sharper, more fancy, whatever you want to do now.